More than 11 million Syrians have lost their lives or have been forced to flee their homes in the last 5 years of armed conflict. This has led to a high number of migrations from Syria to European countries. One major destination for Syrian migrants has been Germany, where they flee to as asylum seekers and, if allowed, become refugees. It all began with anti government protests that erupted in 2011 and demanded President Assad's resignation. By July of that same year, thousands of people were protesting across the whole country. Eventually, they began to use arms to defend themselves, as well as to expel security forces in the areas that they lived in. The country's violent protests emerged into a civil war, with rebels fighting the government to take control of cities and towns throughout the country. As a result, civilians became affected, as many were killed or hurt during attacks. The most affected areas were the Aleppo and Damascus. The civil war in Syria has become the main push factor for the migrants. The crisis has led to instability in the country and many humanitarian crises. Therefore, Syrians have chosen to flee to Europe to places like Germany, Greece, Hungary, Turkey, Switzerland, etc. Other migrants have gone to countries nearby, like Lebanon, Jordan, Iraq, and Egypt. However, migrants prefer countries in Europe rather than neighbor countries due to their stage in the demographic transition model. Wealthier countries in Europe are in stage 4 and some possibly even in stage 5. Therefore, they have better healthcare and security systems than their neighbor countries. As a result, most migrants choose and prefer coming to these countries. Several pull factors exist in Europe. The number of refugees migrating to Europe has increased because it is a safe place to live, ensuring safe living conditions. Countries like Germany have a stable political system, authorities the population can rely on, and suffer from few environmental disasters. Syrian migrants are considered refugees and asylum seekers. They are considered refugees because they leave their country due to a potential threat and cannot come back. Asylum seekers are those who leave their countries in hope of being recognized as refugees. In these new countries, refugees are protected by the government. To reach their destinations, they travel either by land or sea, finding different obstacles and risking their lives along the way. A big part of the refugees going to countries like Greece try to reach Turkey first. From there, they travel by boat to Greek islands with the hope of a better life. A big part of the refugees will be granted asylum in Greece as the process is a short one, relatively. However, most migrants coming from Syria are looking for a more wealthier country like Germany to find better opportunities. Reaching Greece does not mean they will be relocated to another country in the European Union, which might sometimes be a disappointment for them.
Refugees generally travel by boat and by land to reach Germany. They first travel by boat to Greece and reach other countries as they cross Macedonia, Serbia, and Hungary. After this, they may catch trains to Austria, from where the large majority arrive at Germany. Unfortunately for migrants, the safe haven in Germany has been closed. The main intervening obstacle for Syrians right now is Germany putting restrictions on migrants, especially those coming from Syria, as many of them have entered the country in the past years. Some of the citizens of Germany fear there might be terrorists amongst the refugees and choose to stay away, while others keep their arms open. Often, Germans mistreat refugees and blame them for many of the country's problems. Having arrived from a very long journey, Syrian refugees have to find a way to get used to their new life and new culture. Now that they're safe, they're getting used to a different workplace, often restarting their jobs at lower levels. However, those that have not been allowed to enter Germany are left in a vulnerable situation. Migration to another place is hard, whether the people are forced to migrate or not. As immigrants, they have to get used to a different culture and other customs, yet the most important part for them is that they've reached their destination.